Yeah.
I'm looking at the comments and people want to talk about the bench, and I do too. I think, you know, the point I want to make about this whole game is that the bench, obviously, you don't have to be a genius to know that they kind of lost them the game.
Yeah.
Minus 33 for Trent, minus 22 for Utah, minus 24 for Freddie Gillespie. Flynn played only 6 minutes. Um, they they lost the minutes that the starters weren't playing, and it was very clear that that was the case. The starters had a pretty good game until the fourth quarter when Siakam started doing bad things, turning the ball over, and they just started making mistakes. But for the
Mhm.
most part, all of the starters impressed me. But here's the thing: like I saw all game on Twitter, people calling out the bench. The
Yeah.
bench needs to be better. Trent needs to be better. Yada yada yada. Okay, these are all true statements, but the other part of it is that you expect starters to prop up bench units, and Nick has not figured out his rotations at all. So
Yeah.
I'm paying attention to this for a story I'm writing, which will be out probably this week. So be on the lookout for that. I'm excited about it. But I mean, I'm kind of writing about how I think Fred and OG should play together. But for the most part this season, the rotations have been Kyle and Kyle and OG
Mhm.
run one unit, and Fred and Siakam run another unit. And that's what they did in the first half. It didn't work. And then in the second half, he changed it and he played OG with Fred and Kyle with Pascal.
Pascal. Yeah.
And the issue with doing that, I'm in favor of switching it up, like I just said, but the issue right now is that they have no chemistry. They don't know what they're doing.
For
Like
sure.
when OG and Fred played together, it was the first time they had really played together in a very long time as like the only two starters on the floor, and they just didn't know where the offense was coming from. They weren't able to bend defenses. They didn't know what they were running. So, and the same goes for the Kyle and Pascal stuff. It's just like these guys don't have reps running units right now, and so we are blaming the bench, and that's fair. Like the bench guys absolutely need to be better, and Boucher is a huge part of that. We need him back, like we talked about last episode. But regardless, like the sooner the Raptors figure out these rotations, the sooner they'll be able to get their starters, their star players to kind of prop up bench units, because like to see him radically switch up the rotations halfway through a game is pretty rare this late in the season.
Mhm.
And there's a lot of circumstances that go into that. Obviously, this season being filled with injuries and stuff. So I don't even really blame Nurse for having not figured it out yet, but it's something to watch for when you criticize the bench players for sure.
Yeah. And to get to your first point, the bench, was that was the difference. I mean, it wasn't just the Raptors bench played awful. It was the fact that the Knicks bench played incredibly well.
Yeah.
Toppin was 3 for 4 from three, +10. Taj Gibson 4 for 5, +12. Derrick Rose was 7 for 10, +26 with 19 points. How did Derrick Rose get traded for Dennis Smith Jr. in a second round pick?